Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee was founded in 2014 by Ed and Courtney Lemix alongside their son, Brett. The delicious DeLuna blends are a product of Ed's discerning palate for the finest coffee beans on the planet, and Brett's business acumen has them on the national radar for quality. Savor the simplicity of Graffiti Bridge, 100% Colombian beans roasted to a city roast for optimal flavor. Ed and Brett are both FSU alums and are extending a special offer to our listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit thelunacoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
wake up, wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up War Chant. It is fueled by DeLuna Coffee, DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Shout out again to Ed, Courtney, Brett for providing their bundle giveaway at Corner Pocket this past Saturday. Shout out to everybody that we might have not shouted out. Corey, I think I met a Shane from South Carolina. I think I met another Shane from San Jose.
Okay.
Miss Webb Silver Chief, who probably was your soulmate because apparently her family also drove to random hotels to be able to watch Florida State games on in the 80s.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I literally there was part of my life where I thought I must have dreamed that there's no way that actually happened, that we would drive to Macon to watch a football game in a hotel room. But yeah, that was all the confirmation I needed.
Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Promo code's Warchant30. Watching this on YouTube, that's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Hit that thumbs up. We really would appreciate it. Cost you nothing. Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates won't track you either, I promise. And if you're listening to us on an Apple device, iOS, whatever it's called, 5-star rating, please, and review on iTunes. I saw somebody did leave a 5-star rating and review for us a week or so ago, so shout out to whoever you were. I'm sorry I don't have you pulled up, but maybe I'll shout you out tomorrow when we do our live show. Live show, by the way, Wednesday, 6 p.m., just so you all know. Bring it. Still waiting for my phone doohickey to arrive, but no, I don't think we'll be taking phone calls. Still think there's some technical stuff, but we'll have a show. It'll be fun. Post your questions on YouTube. Post them on the warchant.com Tribal Council. Post them on Twitter. Post them wherever. We'll find them. We'll post them here for you. We got some grades maybe to go over. Pro Football Focus. We got some Renegade Express questions to get to, and we also spoke to Mike Norvell and Adam Fuller and some players on Tuesday. Shout out to Mike Reddy. He was ready to go to war with me. I loved it. It was awesome. Asked him about analytics. How do you balance analytics between your gut when it comes to play calls or things of going for it, kicking, punting? He was ready for it. Yeah. It was awesome. I liked it. And he gave a really good answer. Listen, we'll agree to disagree. And I think a lot of people – I think it's probably like a 55-45 that people are like, I like what he did. And then there's just a bunch of us that just grew up watching football and thinking there's no way you go for it when you're like in your own 30-yard line. So, again, I'm not judging. It didn't cost them the game ultimately. I don't know how it affected the game. It's hard to really say. I just don't think I'll ever be comfortable with it. But he's so steadfast and forthright and confident in his approach that I'm whatever, man. Okay, I trust you, I guess, you know.
Yeah, and one of the gauges, it's not the right gauge to use, but I think I'm not the only person that uses this. If the team you're cheering for is on defense and they're playing a good offense or a pretty good offense, and you have them 4th and 1.5 or 2 at their own 37, do you breathe a sigh of relief when they bring the punting team on the field, or do you think, or if they're going for it, you're like, oh, right, this is our chance? Do you know what I mean?
Everybody breathes a sigh of relief. Everybody's like, thank God they're punting it.
Yeah, so that's when I always wonder, like, if the other team is excited that you're punting it, I don't know, man. Because of if it's 4th and 11, of course, nobody's surprised. But when it's iffy, if it's at midfield, so I guess my question is, if it was 10 yards closer, if it was at the 46, their own 46 instead of the 36, or 30, where was it, 33?
I'll look it up.
I don't remember. It's somewhere in the 30s. If it had been in the mid-40s on your own side of the field, do you have a problem with it?
Yeah. That makes a difference. I mean, I don't know how it fleshes out in the analytics, but yeah, like if you're on your own 44 and it's 4th and 2, okay, but man, like if you're on your 31,
no, I'm saying whatever they were on the 34. If you just add 10 yards to it and make it the 44,
yeah,
you're okay with going for it in that spot.
Yeah, because you can get a stop there and then get the ball back. But if you turn it over on your own 31, you're at the worst, they're probably getting a field goal still. You know, if they go incomplete, or they run right into the offensive line and get no yards, they're still going to have a makeable field goal. But if you're at your own 43 and you don't get it, all right, man, that's a 60-yard field goal if you hold them and you don't.
Well, but I mean, when do you ever force a team to not get a yard? I mean, chances are they're still going to get a yard and have a field goal attempt. It might be a little bit further, but they'll still have a field goal attempt. You're giving them the ball on your side of the field. You're talking about the difference between 11 and 12 yards. But the risk of
that's substantial, though. I mean, 11, 12 yards.
The calculus that we talk about is the risk of, okay, I'm risking giving them the ball 12 yards closer than Aslan's comfortable with. But I also, if I get it, which is how all coaches think.
It's on 33. It was on the right.
Okay, so if we put it on the 43. So at the 43, you're more comfortable with it. Even though, a 5-yard gain and you're looking at a 53, 54-yard field goal, 1 first down, you're in field goal range. So the calculus there is, okay, I'm comfortable at my own 43, but not at my own 33. But the difference being, okay, what if I get the first down and I keep the ball? Then what is that? It's just the risk versus reward of it, right?
And you're still on your 43-yard line, though. That's the thing. I mean, we're going to agree to disagree on this. But
in his answer, though, and that's more important than us commenting about it more and more, is him saying, I'm always going to try to win the game. And he thought in that moment, the analytics were in, his analytics in that moment told him to go for it. But I think more than that, it was the flow of the game. And I think both of them make sense. And there is a chart out there for all the football nerds, because look, man, the way people think in 2021, you're almost never supposed to punt unless it's 4th and 5 at your own 20 or worse. The numbers say to always go for it, to almost always go for it. I don't agree with that. I'm not one of these I'm not one of the nerds that thinks you got to do it all the time. I do think flow of the game matters. And that's why I just thought at that point, the flow of the game mattered, and he was thinking about having to throw that defense right back on the field. After 2 straight 3-and-outs, and after that offense had marched up and down the field on his defense. It did not work out. I certainly wouldn't look at that game and think that's what cost them the game. Like if they had punted right there, they would have won. There's no guarantee Notre Dame doesn't go down 75 yards and and scores a touchdown and takes more time off the clock doing it. I think he's going to do that a lot. I think if you trust your offense and maybe you hesitate a little bit with your defense and you got a 4th and 2 and you're averaging 7 yards a carry, you probably should go for it. It just didn't work out.
I will say, though, that things were in their favor in that moment. Like that the leverage of a 4th and 2, they could have easily ran it. They could have done a wildcat. They could have done a traditional run. They could have done a read option thing where either Jordan's going to run it or he'll hand it off if they're crashing down on him. Or they could roll him out, and he can roll out. Yeah. And, there's so many options they have with the backfield they have on a 4th and 2. And, credit to Notre Dame for snuffing it out. And that was,
I didn't see it. Did you ever watch the replay of the actual play, like from a different vantage point? Because Jeff Cameron said that the tight end's open right away, and Travis didn't see him in time or didn't get it to him. But I never saw a replay to see if somebody was open and he missed it. I did see the replay where he's rolling out and from behind, it's like, well, he's got nobody to throw to. Maybe right away there was somebody open that he missed. I don't know.
Maybe. I just remember they were on it. I mean, they were on it. They knew, like, all right, they're going to roll him out. They're going to throw, or maybe not the roll, but like they were expecting pass.
What I would bring up in that? So I remember in the 2013 Florida game. Who was their quarterback that year? Not Florida State. I remember him. Was it Morningwig? Yeah. I mean, good grief. That offense was one of the worst in college football, right?
And then when Will Muschamp got his next chance at being a head coach, he brought that offensive coordinator with him too. So
smart. So, but in that game, I think Florida State. It's a relatively close game. It might be 10-0 at the time, something like that, maybe 17-0. But Florida could play 14 quarters and not score 20 points against that Florida State defense. So I remember them at their own 36 or 34 going for it on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2 and getting it and everybody cheering. And I'm like, what's even the point? Great, you got 3 more set of downs. That's just 3 more chances for Jernigan to hurt your quarterback. You know what I mean? It didn't have any impact on the game if they got that first down or not. It was just headbutting a wall. They were not going to score nearly enough points to win. They scored the 1 touchdown, but that's when it would never really make sense. The offense from 18. What's the point of going for it on 4th down? You might get lucky and pick up a first down. You're still not going to go score because your offense is a disaster.
Yeah.
This offense, I feel like, is a little different. It's not just let's try to get this first down and suck some more time off the clock and keep our defense off the field. I mean, that's the defense part is a factor, but I think it's also we need to go down and score. Our offense is too good not to go score right here. We have to keep up. We have to match them. And it did not work out. But I think moving forward, this offense, if it's going to run like this, which it should, if it can do this against Notre Dame, I think you need to go for it on 4th down a lot. I think you do. I think anything under 4th and 3, if you're averaging 7 yards a carry, you're averaging 6 yards a play, and you're not at your own 9, buddy, I'm all for it. Keep the drive alive. Keep going. You get 4 downs for a reason. Nobody forces you to punt. That's a misnomer. You choose to punt. So Mike Norvell's Notre Dame, you didn't force us to punt. Nobody tells Mike Norvell what to do. Nobody puts Mike Norvell in a corner and says you're going to punt because you're at your own 33. Oh, no. It's 2021. He's coaching his own rules.
All right, well, moving forward, so listen, he answered it fine. I have no problems with it. Again, I will agree to disagree. You, meanwhile, were speaking with Adam Fuller, as most everybody else was. There was I think there might have been a player speaking at the same time. But shout out to them. And by the way, shout out to Florida State and, I guess, Norvell. They didn't have to kind of make themselves available in this sort of long-form forum that they did for us, but they usually do. They'll play the game Saturday, Sunday they're off, Monday they'll do the full press conference where we'll get all of them for about 20 minutes each.
And when you say all of them, you mean Norvell and the coordinators, the
correct.
3 coordinators.
Yeah, correct. So with the short week, you figured probably not getting that. That's totally fine. But they went ahead and gave us Norvell for 16 minutes and then Adam Fuller for maybe even longer than that. So we appreciate that. That was very very considerate of them. I don't know if I think we're going to probably get Kenny and Papuchas later today, so be on the lookout for that.
Man, I'm telling you, right, selfishly, it's selfish at this point now, but man, I hope this guy succeeds. We all need him to succeed for a variety of reasons. We don't need to be going through more muck, but man, it would be so refreshing if this is just Adam Fuller, I like talking to that dude. I like the way he interacts. I like the way he answers questions. I like when he owns up to, that was a bad call with the screenplay. He just explains football well, and he knows football. Now, can he coach it at the level it needs to be coached, or more accurately, can he communicate his message with the players he's coaching? We'll see. But, man, I hope they succeed because they are – I'm not just saying this. They are a joy to talk to. Almost all of them.
It's cool. It's easy there. I like it. It's cool. A joy. Come on now, relax.
You don't think go? Everybody listen to me. Everybody listen to me right now. Go watch Adam Fuller on our Warchant YouTube page because we literally that thing is flooded with stuff. Go watch everything. Everything that happens on that campus is on our Warchant YouTube page. But go watch that Adam Fuller interview, man. I like it, man.
I do.
Number one, it's cool that he's available,
Absolutely.
but he's so he's no nonsense with his answers and very transparent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So you did ask him about the 3rd down. I got to the tail end of it. And I think he said, you want to get aggressive in certain situations, but I think he said ultimately that's on me. It was a bad call. I don't know if he said bad call, but he said it's on me. So everybody, and the crazy thing is I sent you and Ira that screenshot of somebody who commented on our YouTube page, and they commented on the Fuller video. He blocked me on Twitter for good reason. You have my confidence now, reminding me of the 2013 defense. They're being serious. So he's winning some hearts and minds. There's another person that said hey Mick, I'm not coming for your throat anymore. I was happy with what you did. So that coupled with him taking and responding to that answer the way he did was pretty comforting. But again, so what he just pointed out the fact that they were trying to be maybe go for a kill shot kind of like, I mean, because shoot, at that point if they would have gotten another tackle for loss, I don't know, it was like 4th and 24. I don't know where they would have been backed up at that point, but you talk about flipping field position, another tackle for loss could have helped do that. Could have helped done that.
Yeah, instead it was a 55-yard gain. But yeah, he said it was I asked him about the call. I can't remember how I phrased it, but he's like, it was a good call versus a bad call. He basically beat me to the punch and made fun of it. Like, yes, it was a good call versus a bad call. And then, so, he talked about that he was trying to be aggressive. And, in hindsight, obviously, you didn't need to do that. And it didn't work out. And then, but that's when I brought up Deloach on that play. And I didn't even know Adam Fuller knew my name, so that was cool. But he goes, that's right, Corey. Because, again, Deloach blitzes on the play, doesn't get home because nobody got home, but then turns around and makes the tackle 55 yards downfield. And that was a play that Fuller brought up to the team and showed them the video of it as like an example of what it means to not quit. And, you need a lot of that. You need a lot more of that. And that was really cool to see. He brought up Akeem Dent, too. I think Akeem Dent had a play like that where he missed a tackle in the open field, hopped right back up and went and made the tackle. And he's like, look, we're not showing the play because we're happy with missed tackles or because we're happy with a 55-yard screen pass, but we're showing the players what it means to give that kind of effort and the effort that you want to give.
All right, looking at grades now. You got any questions on grades? I was wrong. Coop did not have like a rock'em sock'em night. He graded out at 63. I think he was like smack dab. I think he was like the 6th, highest graded guy on the starting defense. So he was middle of the pack. I can't believe it. Jermaine Johnson, everybody. I think I was talking to Ira. I'm like, what do you think he graded out at? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, over under 71.5. He's like, over. I'm like, under 66. Our guy gets they credit him with 2 sacks on PFF. They gave him 2 whole sacks.
Okay.
Three tackles, 2 assists.
They still owed him one from last year.
Yeah.
They knew it, so they're trying to make up for it. And let me ask you this, because, again, I think we agree to disagree on the value of PFF, certainly for one game, maybe through the course of the season. But where did Steven Dix grade out? Above or below Jermaine Johnson?
I'm not answering that. No,
exactly.
Exactly. He graded above. He graded 66.4, so 4/10.
So
but
he graded ahead of Jermaine Johnson, which, again, you take it for what it's worth. It's a nice tool. It's a good tool for the totality of a season. But it's one game. And, look, when you go on the offense.
You're trying to be a nice guy, Corey, but no. I mean, you're making your point. How could you know about football and watch that game? I mean, because Jermaine, I don't know, did he whiff on that screenplay? Or was it his responsibility? He totally butchered it? Like, whatever he did, and I was talking to Austin Cox about this, our writer, like, whatever good that Jermaine did, the sacks, the pressures, has to outweigh whatever he did that might have been negative because
a blown assignment.
Yeah, it did not seem like it affected anything as much as his positive impact did. But
no, of course it wouldn't. And on the offensive side, because I looked at those too, like none of the offensive linemen are in like the top 15 on the team in run blocking, and they ran for 270 against Notre Dame. So you would think those run blocking grades would be a little higher. Again, I think as we move how does that compute? How does that compute where Mackenzie Milton somehow has a higher run blocking grade than every offensive lineman on the team? They ran all over Notre Dame, especially in the second half. Yeah. I don't know how did the Notre Dame guys fall down on their own? Did they get pushed out of the way on their own? Was it just great running backs? So that's, again, you take it for what it's worth. I think at the totality of a season, you look at those numbers, and they usually bear out these were your best players. Yeah. You right? But in one game, clearly there's a wide variety of what maybe the reality is and what people doing that grading are doing. Yeah.
At this point, it's really just for me to see who played and how much. I'm sat here yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Can't wait
snap totals.
Yeah, can't wait to see Miko Dotson actually, start getting some burn. He started.
Yeah.
He played 10 snaps. Renardo Green, another guy that was hoping he'd become more healthy, more available, whatever kind of slowed him down last season. He did play, though. He played 20 snaps and was the 4th highest graded defender. Keir Thomas, your guy, the highest graded starter on defense. So good job, Corey, on that.
Good player, man. And so when we look at this team.
And just real quick, everybody, Mackenzie Milton graded out at 71 overall offensively. Jordan Travis, 61.6.
Okay, that seems about fair.
Yeah, so
different sample sizes, but that seems about fair.
21 snaps for Milton, 56 for Travis.
What I was going to say though is when you look at this team and how I think people are genuinely excited about what they saw in that front four, that defensive front.
You should be,
and you should be because they were good. But as you look forward to as this program develops, I think the 2 best players on that team on the defense are Keir Thomas and Jermaine Johnson, at least in the running. They're 2 of the best. Well, they're both gone next year. If you're looking ahead, and we don't want to look ahead, let's enjoy 2021. But that's why I thought when I was looking at those numbers, the only numbers I really looked at on the PFF stuff was the snaps. And you did get Quayshawn Fuller some snaps. You got Derek McClendon some snaps. You got Dennis Briggs some snaps.
24, man. They played 24 dudes on defense.
Yeah, and they got the kid, the Jarrett Jackson kid, right? The defensive line.
The X Factor, 11.
Yeah, he played 11. But that's not a ton of reps, but it's some. You don't want Jermaine Johnson probably playing 60 snaps every game. Or at least, he's got to work up to that. He's probably, I can't imagine he ever did that at Georgia.
72, by the way, everybody. There were 72 defensive snaps. Jermaine Johnson played 60. Shout out Jarvis Brownlee, True Dog.
Played all of them.
Every single one.
Yeah. So, but as you look forward, you're going to have some of these young guys develop because 11 and 4 aren't going to be there next year. So let's see what you got there. Fuller, in his limited time, was that was a revelation. Those couple plays were nuts. That was good to see. So you hope that develops, and they learn from these guys, and that develops, and they can kind of take the mantle from them next year. And quite frankly, quite honestly, you might have to go hit the portal again for a couple studs on the defensive line. I don't know if you're going to get them like this, but it certainly would help.
Absolutely. All right, man, let's go to the ponies. Let's go to our mailbag. It's called Renegade Express, y'all. It's over on the warchant.com Travel Council. Do head over there. We're going to probably start doing this on Wednesdays. We'll take the questions, then we'll have the leftovers for Friday. Maybe we'll do some over-unders again. Not sure how that's going to work out, but we'll try to figure something out. But then again, we'll have our live show Wednesday, which will be your Thursday podcast. Nonetheless, I said it. Here we go. Spartan Noles 71. This is Ralph. He's in Hawaii. I think he might be back there. Aloha, guys. How's it? I need to just save that when he says it on the phone call and always push it up. But anyhow, no question. Just a big mahalo to the entire Warchant staff and Ohana, that means family, for a vacation I will remember forever. Oh, nice, man. Truly love meeting everyone and making new friends for life. Mahalo. Go Warchant. Oorah.
I was thinking about Ralph, not just Ralph, but Mark, all the people that came in, Shane, all the people that came in from great distances, not just because they're parts of the show, but then all the other Florida State fans that came to that game. Because, we're lucky. I live there half the time. You live there full the time. Like I don't have to pay what they have to pay to go stay in that city and watch those games. And I know nothing's ever going to be done. I think next year, Aslan, it might be too late this year. We're going to have like a Wake Up Warchant community Airbnb, some sort of network where these people that are coming in from out of state, put them up, people.
Let's rent a floor.
If you live in Tallahassee, put them up.
Let's rent a floor in a hotel. Let's partner with a hotel and get a whole floor just for Warchant people.
Yeah, and charge them $900 a night.
No.
5-night minimum. That's what they do.
We'll pump some ads for them to subsidize.
There you go, to subsidize. I got you. So just thinking about them and how far some of these people had to travel. Like Ralph might have won the contest about who traveled the farthest, but still coming all that way, whether it's Texas or North Carolina or Hawaii, getting to that was the first trip for a lot of Florida State fans to Doak in years that was worth it. They gave you something that made it worth it. Like, I know it was a loss, but it was worth it. You got to experience that crowd. You didn't leave in the third quarter. You didn't shake your head wondering what in the world is going on with this program. You actually had a little bit of hope when you left the stadium. You got to see an awesome game. You got to see a team that you could be that I'm sure you were proud of, even if they lost. That's been a long time coming. So I felt really good for all those people. We got to meet so many of them this past weekend. So that made it resonate a little more. But overall, it's just really cool that Ralph got to see a game like that. It would have been such a bummer if it ended up like 52-20. But it didn't, did it, Aslan?
It did not.
Ryan Fitzgerald just killed all their dreams.
Oh, what you got to do
That's
that
a joke.
for?
So I wanted to say that, by the way. Like, my man Fitzgerald, we talked a lot about the kick that he missed, which, again, if he makes it, there's still really no guarantee it changes the outcome at all. The score might have been 44-41. Maybe it goes in the second overtime. Maybe it goes in the third overtime when we get to see alternating 2-point conversions. But that I hope he takes something out of that first kick, because that's as clutch as it gets, man.
Absolutely.
He crushed that thing. Yeah. And that's a more pressure kick. If he misses that, the game's over. Yeah. It's not a tie game when he kicks that thing. They're down by 3, and for him to come out and do that was that was impressive. It would have been nice if he'd have followed it up, but I get it. It's kicking. It happens. But I hope he feels good about that kick, because that was clutch.
You know what you all can feel good about? MyBookie.ag and their lock of the season, Corey. Check it out, man. If either team scores in the NFL season opener on Thursday between the Bucs and the Patriots, you'll win. I had to go check it out myself. It's true, everybody. It really is true. If any team scores between the Cowboys and the Bucs, you win. Did some research because it sounds too good to be true.
I don't even understand what you're saying. If the game doesn't end in a 0-0 tie, you win?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. The maximum wager is $27.50, and you'll win $25 off of that. So, but it's also, you get your deposit bonus if you use the promo code WARCHANT. Use some of that to put a bet on this. You cannot lose it. And then you can tell your friends, like, yeah, man, Cowboys Bucs game, what did it end in, the score? Oh, cool. All right, good. Yeah, I won some money on that game. Just don't tell them how much and what you bet on, but just,
right.
You can pound your chest on that sort of stuff. Go to mybookie.ag. Again, use that promo code WARCHANT. And while you're over there, they have several exclusive contests, including their $100,000 super contest that only costs $10 to enter. Big money on the line this season. Don't wait. Get in the game. Join now. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code WARCHANT. Your first deposit, they'll double it. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Travis H. Corey says, wake up! What's our record after ending the season with a win over Florida in Gainesville? Bold destination? Think big and positive, gentlemen. As always, appreciate all the great content. Go Noles. I don't have the schedule in front of me. I have not committed the schedule to memory. They beat Florida. I think that'll be their eighth win.
Eighth win, yeah. Because if they're good enough to do that, they'll have won another game or two that maybe a week ago we weren't expecting. All right? But yes, I think that would be their 8th win. And then, I don't know, man, if you were an 8-win team that just won at Florida, one of your losses is a overtime loss to Notre Dame. What is that, like the
Tax Slayer Bowl? Is that still an ACC? I need to Google that right now. Like ACC.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bowl
what's the third highest ACC bowl? I feel like that's where you're going. Clemson's going to go somewhere, and then they'll go to a New Year's Six bowl. Somebody else will probably go to the second bowl, and then you're going to whatever that third bowl is.
Like Virginia Tech or something like that. Ooh, Holiday Bowl's a tie-in this year.
San Diego, huh?
Yeah, San Diego.
That's an easy drive.
Maybe the Dukes. Yeah, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl's a tie-in. Holiday Bowl's a tie-in. The Dukes Mayo Bowl, which is Charlotte, is a tie-in. Definitely won't be Fenway or the Pinstripe Bowl. So,
what about the Florida Bowl? Are there any Florida Bowls that are tie-ins?
No, not good ones. No offense, back home. Gasparilla Bowl. That's Christmas Eve.
Okay, right.
That's not the one you want to be in there. So, but yeah, I'll say probably the Cheez-It Bowl. I think that's like the Champs Bowl, what it used to be. So that's December 29th, Wednesday, against the Big 12 team. So we'll play Kansas State.
I get that you have to do this sometimes, but if you're the ACC, could you tell these bowls that you kind of quit changing your name?
Yeah.
Like
commit.
It's the FedEx Orange Bowl, right? Or what is it now? The Capital One Orange Bowl.
It was the Discover Orange Bowl for a while, but I think it's the Capital One Orange Bowl.
Yeah, or it used to be the Nokia Sugar Bowl forever.
USF&G, brother. It's always going to be the USF&G Sugar Bowl to me.
But it was always the Sugar Bowl. Yeah. They didn't just get to change their name to a product.
Right.
That's stupid, and it's terrible marketing for your bowls because you can't remember it. It's like, oh, they're playing in the Crest Bowl. The Crest Bowl, what's that? Oh, it used to be the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Are you like the Fast and Furious Bowl, Fast and Furious 10 Bowl. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's the Sugar Bowl. Like, you just give them sponsors, but keep the names. Like the Champs Bowl was the Russell. It went from Champs to Russell Athletic to now what is it?
Cheez-It.
The Cheez-It? I mean, so who holds the champ? Is there a Russell Bowl record? If you do something in the Cheez-It Bowl, does it count as a Champs Bowl record? Like it's just goofy.
Yeah,
like the NFC Championship game is always the NFC Championship game. You can have a sponsor, but that's it would behoove college football or at least the ACC because these bowl games that's a ridiculous name for a bowl game. And I love Cheez-Its, guys. I love them. Don't get me wrong. It's ridiculous. Can't name a bowl after a little orange square that you pop in your mouth. That's nuts. Call it the Cheez-It Orlando Bowl. Just don't call it the Cheez-It Bowl. But they do it for all of it now.
Yeah, make it the Orlando Bowl. Make it the Disney Bowl. Sponsored by Cheez-It or something.
Yeah. The Holiday Bowl, is it still the Holiday Bowl?
It is. It's the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl.
Holiday Bowl. I wonder how it got grandfathered in. But yeah, so I wish they would do that more.
San Diego takes I know we laugh at everybody that's not in the Southeast when it comes to football, but I think like San Diego really does take pride. I mean, like El Paso takes a lot of pride in the Sun Bowl, and that thing's always been the Sun Bowl. It's just recently it's been the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, which it will be this year as well. I'm surprised there was never a Dairy Bowl. Like, Citrus has its own bowl. Citrus has a Citrus Bowl, and they have the Orange Bowl. Big Cotton, Big Ag.
Right.
Surprised there's never like a dairy. Like, where are the dairy farmers of America? Where
they should have their own a milk bowl. You'd call it the milk bowl, right?
Yeah, the cereal bowl or something. Yeah.
There you go. Nice. Anyhow. We did it, man.
Mark in Naples. I keep calling him Matt Amesy, but he's not. M. Adams Easy. Wake up! Great meeting you guys at the Warchant events, Aslan. I hope that pillar looks great in the new house. Tune in Wednesday, 6 p.m. live on YouTube to find out, Mark. Thanks again to the whole Warchant staff for being such great hosts. I'm still blown away at our run defense and our own production running the ball. We just lined up and beat them a good portion of the night. Even more encouraging is that we darn near won the game, maybe with our B- game.
Yeah.
Do you see a letdown this week after such an emotional and physical battle? Personally, this is Mark, I don't. This team showed the other night that it can fight through adversity. I think Norvell will have them ready to crush Jacksonville State. I can easily see 300-plus yards rushing and both quarterbacks playing great. Thanks, go Noles. We didn't even talk about quarterbacks at practice. Still looks like Jordan, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, it was just about the but I think we both think they'll play, right? We think they'll both play. Milton is out there moving around. Looking like, it didn't look like there was any ill effects necessarily from taking some hits that he hadn't taken in 3 years and getting that kind of it's one thing to practice. It's one thing to even do it in a Garnet Gold game. It's a whole nother deal to do it against Notre Dame in the fourth quarter of a 10-point game and then a 3-point game and then an overtime. So it seemed like he must have responded pretty well because he was out there moving around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked at the play numbers for the running backs, and it was like Jashawn Corbin had 30, Ward had 28, and Toafili had 25. And I'm like, okay, that's probably – I maybe would have gone with Corbin a little bit more. But, yeah, man, that seems about right? You divvy them up with – if you're going to divvy it up – if those three are going to play like that, divvy them up like that all year.
I don't want to give
they all seem fresh at the end of the game.
Yes. I mean, that's the key. And I don't want to give him too much credit. I give him too much credit, but Ira kind of called it. He kind of does look a little bit like Devontae running. He's got that kind of low to the ground, pouncing around sort of cadence to his runs. Where he's just I can't even describe it. He just looks, he's pouncing from spot to spot. He's not running. It's kind of a weird motion, but it's beautiful. It's poetry.
He runs a little angry too.
Yes.
Like Devontae did that. And I don't know, I know where Devontae Freeman grew up and I talked to him at length about kind of his childhood and what he saw and everything else. And there's a reason that maybe you have some pent-up aggression. I don't know that much about Trayshawn Ward's story, but I know from what I've been told, it wasn't the easiest upbringing either. And he runs angry. That's just I hope he has the kind of year that we think he can have, because I think this could be one of the all-time cool stories in Florida State history for a kid that had not an easy upbringing to then walk on for years, a couple of years,
and turn down scholarships, and
then finally get his shot, and then to shine like we hope he can shine. That would be a really cool story.
Yeah, it's a Willie. That's thank you to Willie Taggart on that, man. That was him finding him and giving him the opportunity. So, let's see here. Yeah, I don't see I don't know, Corey. They beat North Carolina, so you could say they experienced success and they weren't able to handle success. And I don't know. I think they were successful in a lot of ways, not where it matters most, obviously, with winning the game. But this just feels different. When you win a game like that in the middle of the season, I don't really know if you can be like, man, we just had a really good week of practice, and that's why we won, and we need to keep practicing like that. But when you prepare the way they did this offseason, when you go to Jacksonville and, hoof it and live the rough life in a dorm, and you literally walk almost a mile to your makeshift IM football field, and you do all that stuff, and then you get punched in the mouth repeatedly and find ways to bounce back. That's true. That's like true spine. That's like real character and grit, if you will. I don't see that fading away in a game like Jacksonville State. I agree with. I don't know about 300 yards rushing, although who knows? Maybe you might be around that mark. And I know you mentioned on the show yesterday. I think they'll come out. They'll score over 40 points, and I think they'll hold Jacksonville State to under 17. So
okay, well there you go. Yeah, and look, man, a lot of that comes from the head down, like the coaching on down. Yep. You hope the players take it seriously, but I can promise you, the head coach was taking it seriously at least at Tuesday's practice. Before practice even started, almost he kicked someone out of practice. I'm not going to tell you who, so don't ask. Don't tweet at me either. Don't DM me. But somebody was kicked out of practice because he was irate with him.
Wait, when was this?
Hey man, don't worry about it. I hear things. I find out things. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And then later on, and I was even there for that portion of it. Later on, I was there for him to scream at one of his players, finish, because he was not doing that, and then screaming at him to stop being mediocre. He was not just glad-handing him and telling him, hey, guys, he is proud of him, but he didn't slow down. It's not like he's taking a breath and it's like, okay, now I can be easy on him. They earned my trust and loyalty and respect and pride, and I'm going to treat him like a grandson. No. He's still Mike Norvell, and he's still coaching him as hard as he was before the Notre Dame game, at least on Tuesday. And I just think he knows one speed, right? I don't think you turn that on and off. I just think that's who he is. He had a team play really well, in my opinion, on Sunday night. And they played a very hard physical game, and they've got a quick turnaround to play another game. And he didn't take he wasn't taking anything lightly. That's not how he does it. So yeah, that should show you where he is. And yeah, it would be, like I said yesterday, it would just be nice if it's over at halftime. There's no drama. They come out and take care of business. They can play a bunch of young guys. They maybe get even a better sense of what they're going to do at quarterback. But just go and dominate a team. Don't go through the motions. Like, this program has gone through the motions for 4 years. Go dominate a team. Go build off that. Don't wait and try to build off it in 2 weeks against Wake Forest. Build off it and it's not an apples to apples comparison. But I always said the most impressive game that I thought Florida State played in 2013 was the game after Clemson. I mean, holy smokes. They have their biggest win in a decade almost, probably in a decade, at least. Beat the tar out of the number 5 team in the country by 51-13 or whatever it was. They're number 2 in the country. They're on their way to playing a national championship game. Everybody's talking about them. They had every right in the world to take it easy the next week and to just go through the motions. They know they could sleepwalk and beat NC State. They're up 35-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me was the sign of, oh man, this is something. I mean, I guess the Clemson was the first sign, but then that was like, okay, this is an all-time team. This isn't just a good 2013 team in 2013. This is an all-time team. that team had the maturity to go. It helped that they had lost to them the year before the way they did, clearly. But it was 7. If you've seen the season highlight film of that season, there's 17-16 is written on big letters on their whiteboard, big numbers on their whiteboard before the game. But still, that was so impressive. And I think this would be not as impressive. It's a whole different ballgame, but it would be impressive for this group of guys that's still not accomplished a ton in their college careers to build on something and not just sleepwalk and point to the Wake Forest game. It just would be a little bit another step in a sign of maturity.
All right, we'll take, I think, 2 more, and then we'll save the rest of these for Friday. We'll keep the thread open if some of you folks want to get some last ones in here.
Hey, how about this? Somehow a fly got into my house. I don't know how. I'm going to blame Brady. But as I was talking and making that point about the 2013 team, it literally landed on the tip of my nose.
Oh, I thought it went like into your mouth. I'm like, oh, gosh.
No, well, it was coming at it, I guess. But what kind of fly lands on? But it didn't sound like it, did it?
No.
I just kept talking. You didn't know there was a fly that landed on my nose and hung out.
I mean, when you watch other people conquer adversity, you then can conquer adversity yourself in life. It's crazy how it works.
Well, so I'm kind of learning from this 2021 Florida State team.
Let's go.
They were down 38-20. They didn't bat an eye. I had a fly land on my nose in the middle of a popular podcast. Didn't bat an eye. Just kept talking.
Primetime 92. Hello, gentlemen. I'm going to have to defer to this to you, Corey. You're our defensive guru. Why did Notre Dame switch to a 3-front defense and not adjust when we gashed them over and over in the second half running the football?
You know, what I thought was interesting part of it was because they did get up, right? Like they got up by 11 points and then they were up by 18 points. And I think at that moment you're like, okay, we're going to play off a little bit. We're going to make them – we're not going to give up another 60 or 70-yard touchdown. Right. We're not going to have 8 guys in the box. We're not going to stack it. Even when Jordan was in there, they were playing off a little bit more. But what I thought was interesting is when Milton came into the game, they backed way up. Like they just played differently. They, as you would, but they brought in another safety. It seemed like they had 2 safeties instead of the one kid. And I just thought that was interesting that him coming into the game dictated terms to what they were going to do on defense. And they were more worried about the pass, clearly. But what I thought was not interesting, but one thing that I didn't think Dillingham and Norvell got enough credit for was, you know, look, I'm not comparing these guys to Jimbo. Jimbo has a national title. He's won a ton of games. He's got a top 5 or 7 team in the country. So these guys aren't there. But one complaint I always had about Jimbo is when he'd get down 2 scores in a game, it felt like he just changed. He's like, all right, well, we got to start throwing it every down. You know, that was just his mindset, it seemed like. Even if there was 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, he started throwing it a lot more. These guys didn't do that. Like, you know, the one drive they got it to 38-28. I think they only completed. Jordan Travis had the one pass over the middle to Helton, and I think that was it. I think everything else was a run, and then Milton hit those 2 passes, but everything else after that was really a run. And on their game-tying field goal drive, most of that, like, they didn't just take the bait. Like, they're like, no, there's plenty of time. There's 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. I know we're down 18, but we can still run and get into the end zone here, and that's what they did. But I can't answer that question. I would think more than anything it was the score that dictated it. Like, they didn't want to give up big plays. They thought the only way Florida State could get back in the game, maybe, we're up 38-20, we're up 31-20. We can't give this quarterback an easy 75-yard throw. No. Or we can't give them one running lane where it's a one cut and they're gone, and all of a sudden they're down by 10. Oh, now they're down by 3. We want to make them earn. We want to make them have to earn their way down all the way down the field. Because, yeah, man, 2 of the touchdowns Florida State had scored to that point was a 60-yard touchdown and a 90-yard touchdown. Yeah, so they're like, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's see if they can drive down the field. We don't think they can. And then Jordan Travis proved them wrong, and then Mackenzie Milton definitely proved them wrong.
Well done, Corey. I would not have known how to answer that question. I appreciate it.
I was probably way off. We should get what's his name? Freeman, Marcus Freeman.
Yeah. What's up, Marcus?
We should email him. What is his name? Is it Marcus?
Yeah, Marcus Freeman. You're right.
Okay, good.
Primetime 92 also ends with 3 guys that I thought played well that I haven't seen discussed, and then he goes on to list 4 players. But Sidney Williams, which you like Sidney Williams, he'll hit you. I heard you talk about that on headlines. Ja'Kai Douglas, which he'll do whatever you need, man. He's playing some running back. He'll play receiver. Fabian Lovett, and then Akeem Dent, and then in parentheses, tackling next to Akeem's name, which you mentioned at the top of the show, right? Akeem.
Well, but it was early on. He missed a tackle. He took a really bad angle, or maybe the guy's just a good player and he made Akeem Dent miss. That happens. I think it was the tight end, but he shook Akeem Dent. Akeem Dent fell down and slid past him, but got back up and made the tackle. But yeah, I think Dent finished with 6 tackles. He should have had an interception, but it's Akeem Dent, so he batted it down. I predict he might again lead the ACC in pass breakups. But yeah, that's a good play he made too, because that was a trick play where Notre Dame's trying to put their foot on the throat early, and they do it. They give it to the quarterback, and obviously Florida State's geared up for the run. Or they give it to the running back. Florida State rightly is geared up for the run. They flip it back to the quarterback. Dent reads it, makes a great route on the ball, and undercuts the throw, and really should have probably had the interception. He just didn't catch it. But man, that's a really nice play, other than the finish. So yeah, I was pleasantly pleased. I wouldn't say surprised, because Akeem Dent's my guy. Pleased with how Dent played overall. I thought he played pretty well. He showed some signs that there might be something there. And Sidney Williams too. I don't know what kind of cover safety that kid's going to be. I don't expect him to be Kyle Hamilton. That's the Notre Dame kid. If you guys were wondering, I still can't believe. And Norvell even said that, right? He said that one interception is one of the best plays he's ever seen. Yeah. It's just crazy that he got his foot in. And, was such a good athlete, he was taking his helmet off as he was still rolling to the ground. It's just nuts. It's crazy some people are built like that. But, Sidney Williams has that rangy kind of violent body that you haven't seen a lot in the Florida State secondary, at least at safety, in a while. So, yeah, that's when you think about him, what he might be, because he played pretty well at the end of last year. He played well in the spring, and then he was out for a good portion of fall camp. He didn't practice a ton. Yeah. So he seemed like he kind of got back into the groove the last week of fall camp, and then he played like he did on Sunday with not a ton of reps. That bodes well for the future, that he might be a real player. And then when you throw in what we think Shaheem Brown might be, those are two guys that are those body types, the athleticism, the physicality. That might be a pretty good safety combo in a year or two.
Sidney Williams graded at 84.1 in his tackling.
Hoo-wee.
That's real
there
good.
There you go, Sidney.
That's real good. By the way,
he'll hit you down under.
In some corners of the world, they call that play that Corey was describing with Notre Dame and Akeem undercutting it as a flea flicker. In case you've never heard of it.
Yeah, the old flea flicker.
All right, last one, S. Quinn67. Again, we'll get to the rest of these on Friday for y'all, so do stay with us for all the shows this week. Don't forget Jeff Cameron also coming up 1 to 3 o'clock. Wake up, S. Quinn67 says. Wake up! What a great weekend in Tally. I enjoyed meeting the Warchant team, even though I missed seeing Aslan. The events were great at Horizons and CP. I was there, man. I walked into the belly of the beast.
You sure did, buddy.
I did. I think am I okay? I'm how many more days before I can be like, all right, I'm
I don't even want to joke. I joked about it earlier today, and I'm like, you know what? Don't even joke about that, man. Don't even put that in the universe. But probably 2 more days.
Okay. Oh, dang, really?
Yeah. You're not out of the woods, my man.
Oh, man. All right, the tailgating vibe was solid, but the stadium experience took me back to my college days back in the 90s. Black Bert and I had our kids, 3 college-bound teenagers, with us, and it probably influenced their college choices. Let's hope they become Noles. Yeah, I can't imagine you. Yeah, that's the kind of weekend. Like a lot of my buddies came. I know a lot of my friends had older siblings that went to Florida State, and they would come up and visit them when they were in high school. So and that's what it was. If you came and visited in 1998, man, it was probably just that raw, raucous emotion. So
especially for a big game, right?
Yes.
It was, who knows? 98 when they were playing Wake, it's it was what you'd expect. But 98 versus Florida, I mean, good grief. That's what college football is all about. That's what makes college football special. I thought Sunday night was what made college football special. And speaking of that, meeting all the fans, I know they're not just in Tallahassee for us, but
met Alex too. And I'm sorry, there was a guy named Alex I met.
And that's what I need to start next year when we do this. I'm going to take my phone out every time I meet someone, and I'm going to put in parentheses what I should remember. That like I can't just say Alex and Jamie and John. I got to put in parentheses who they were and what they said, where they lived, that kind of thing. Because I met a really nice couple from New Jersey that came down for their game. Their daughter, well, I'm not gonna put any stuff. Their daughter is roommates with one of the football players' sisters.
Okay.
That doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to, for them to know they're from New Jersey, just for them to know that I remember them.
Right.
I don't remember your names, and I'm very, very sorry. I'm awful at that, but I want them to represent everybody else I met. It was a real joy meeting all of you. You guys were way too kind and nice, and it's just fun to hear that kind of feedback. And like that people listen to us, and I don't want to say that they care about what we say. You should care about what we say. We're really smart dudes, right, Aslan?
Absolutely.
We're dialed in, but they're so complimentary, and the stories we hear, like you always listen to you on the way to work. I listen to you when I'm walking. You're the only way I keep in touch with Florida State athletics or Florida State football. I want y'all to know that we don't dismiss that, and I would just never dismiss that. That means a lot to hear people say that, and I just wanted to put that out there because that's really cool that we get to do that. Because I could imagine, people 20 years ago this wasn't an option. 15 years ago it wasn't an option, and it's just cool that you guys, because there's you also have a lot of options to listen to when it comes to Florida State athletics now. We're glad you're dialed in on the Warchant channel. And that was nice, right? It was a good message
absolutely.
for me, right?
And on the complete opposite side of that, I goofed. I'm sorry, old dads and Noel. I skipped over your question. You'll be the first one we go with on Friday. I don't know why I skipped over it, but I just did. I'm sorry. I love you, old dad. All right, back to S. Quinn. His question, it's a repeat from a couple of weeks ago. Now that our offensive line has shown that we can rush for over 200 yards, if you remember, it was 150 in my original question, are we ready to add more projected wins to the season total? How about them Noles? S. Quinn 67, classes of 93.
Oh, good class. Yeah, it's a nice class there. You didn't see a lot of losses.
All right, I got the schedule in front of me, Corey. So Jacksonville State's a win. Louisville, I think, now is a win. That's no longer 50-50. I think that's a win. Syracuse is a win. There's 3. UMass is a win. That's 4. I still think
then you have the coin toss type games, which, I know I'm just throwing that out there as far as when I say coin toss, let's assume betting lines are 5 points, 7 points to 7 points either way. Like underdog by 7 or favored by 7. I think that's probably every game on the schedule save for Florida and Clemson.
I think Florida will even be within that too. I think.
It could be. Yeah, it depends on how the season plays out. But yeah, Clemson won't be. Florida might not be. But I think all those other games, you are either going to be a favorite or you're going to be underdog by less than a touchdown. And to me, that's a coin flip. I know Vegas doesn't think that, but I think that's coin flip-ish. And yeah, so now that you know you can do that, and that kind of stuff is the stuff that travels. It just travels. The timing around the timing of the passing game. Quarterback maybe has a bad day. You don't know, but being able to run the ball consistently travels everywhere. But I would say this: I'm interested because we'll see what this weekend is. But Wake Forest is going to do their darn best to make sure Florida State doesn't run for 300 yards. So there will be big plays to be made in the passing game, I think. I think these defenses will adjust. They know that's what the Florida State wants to do. I guess it's a matter of if you can stop it. I mean, heck, everybody knew what Nebraska and Oklahoma were doing in the 80s. Didn't matter. But they're going to try their best not to get run over by a team that ran for almost 300 against Notre Dame. So what can you do to adjust to their adjustment? That's what I'm interested in. Which of these receivers will be the guy that starts making big plays because he's getting man-to-man coverage? He makes one safety miss, and he's out the gate because that's the next step. The receivers, they didn't do a ton. Keyshawn made a couple nice catches. I'm not saying they played poorly. They didn't get a ton of chances, but in the passing game, they didn't do a ton. They're going to have to. Like teams are going to do their darn best to make sure you're not running for 300 yards a game.
Yeah, man. I think you beat Wake. I'm not ready to say. I mean, North Carolina, I think that's a 50-50 game. I will say this: I think you're going to win 2 games in November now. NC State, Miami, Boston College, Florida, and I don't think you're going to win the ball. Boston College. I still think for some reason I just think Boston College is probably going to win that game. But that means that you're going to probably beat Miami or Florida. I will say that.
Ooh,
this team
all
is
right.
going to beat either Miami or Florida. I will say that.
I like you being positive, man. I will have a much better opinion. I think we both will. We'll answer the questions. We'll predict whatever you want us to predict. Yeah. I think at the end of September, all of us will understand what this team can probably be. Like if it's going to surprise us all and get to 8 or 9 wins, or if it's going to still be around a 500 type team, but it's going to have some excitement. It's going to have a chance in these games. We'll see. These next 3 weeks, the Wake Forest game especially is just there's a lot riding on that one. A lot riding on that one to keep this fan base engaged and believing. To keep, more importantly, that roster and those guys in that locker room to keep believing. You don't need to lose to Wake Forest, no matter if you're playing at Snuggy Hill or not. You need to win that game. So, hopefully they will, my man. Hopefully they will.
So, I guess with that being said, I think that moves me to 7 then. That okay. I feel like, but again, I think the door is still open for 8. But yeah, I'll move up from 6 and 6. I'll say 7 right now. I will say that. Right, and I do think you'll beat one of your in-state rivals. I really do think so.
Man, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be great?
Because you got up for that game that way. You'll get up for Miami at home. And even if you lose to Miami and you lose to Boston College, I think they'll maybe at that point you can be like, well, hey, man, they've lost 3 of their last 4. They lost to Clemson, they lost to Miami, they lost to Boston College. They're going to pack it in. I don't think so, man. I just think they'll keep pounding the rock or whatever they want to call it.
All right, buddy.
And I'll take it. I'll take it being Florida. So yeah, there we go, Esquin. Hope you enjoyed that one. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. We got a lot of good ones to get to here on Friday. We'll be back live Wednesday, and that'll be your Thursday podcast, y'all. So join us on YouTube. You can see the pillar if you weren't there, y'all. I'm gonna figure out a way to get it. I think my shelves are adjustable. I think I can adjust it to where it can really showcase it. It's quite a sight, y'all. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I think you're gonna like it. All right, we'll be at practice on Wednesday morning, so do stay connected to warchant.com. We'll get Mike Norvell for a final time this week. We'll probably ask him about health-related stuff. Maurice Smith, Bavion Johnson, what's going to happen there. Pokey, we'll see what's going on with him. I think somebody wanted us to ask somebody about the I think Grumpy BK was like, did you guys ask him about the snaps? No, man. We asked Alex Atkins about the snaps. We saw the snaps all preseason long, and Alex Atkins was like, we'll be okay. And they weren't. And they know. So what I said on headlines,
you know how the quarterbacks throw into that net that has the 3 squares?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that with your centers and see who can snap it in the middle square every time? And then that's who you do it. Make it do 100 times. Just snap into a net.
I was thinking, I would have liked for them during 11-on-11, like team, just at one point just be like, snap the ball and then just throw the ball back at the center. Like, do it again. So he's not expecting it. Like, all right, 5 times in a row, like now. Like the way they make a kicker have to hit it so they can walk off. Like right now, music is blaring loud, the crowd noise. 5 times, man. Like, do it right. I will say this. When we were leaving, one of those guys was practicing snaps as we were talking to the coaches for a good
well, see, there you go, gang.
10-15 minutes
there you go.
So.
They know. They watch the game. They're in the game. Yeah. I can tell you Bavion feels he has to feel horrible about it. Like that one snap might have been the difference. And look, there's 20 plays. There's 100 plays that you could say if they break a certain way, they change. So, I'm not going to say he played poorly. He was on an offensive line that, did what they did in the running game. But if he makes that snap, there's no telling if Florida State wins that game or not. So, you know that resonates with him. So, much more than like a bad snap in a practice will. So, hopefully maybe that's the last bad one we see, Aslan.
Let's hope. And we'll be back again for you guys tomorrow, live. Well, no, live today, and then Friday. You know how it all goes.
Yeah, we know.
It's long. I'm tired, everybody. Shout out to Corey, by the way, everybody. Corey got up, went to practice, wrote a story, recorded headlines, drove 5 hours to Atlanta, was an all-star dad, went and took his kid to practice, came home, did this podcast.
That's what I do. I do it for you guys. I do it for you in New Jersey. You know what I mean? I do it for you, Ralph, in Hawaii. I'm doing it for all you guys. And it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure to be doing this show for you guys.
It's been Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Have a great one, everybody. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.